pretty much all the deals I've done is because I'm knocking on doors, or I think I've done 1 or 2 deals over 3.5 years where I've never met the person. Like, I really like to get in. Yesterday, I was in the greens, and there was some people that didn't respond to me, which is fine. They're busy. So I know where their office is. I go and knock on their doors, and you can go and sit with people. People are like, of course, some people are going to turn you away and say, no, Kyel, I'm too busy. I don't want to speak right now. But most of the time, you know, they're working, they've got time, they've got 10, 15 minutes, or they can say, oh, Kyel, I can't meet you right now. Next week, let's set a time. But getting in front of people, as long as you're not being intrusive and as long as you're not being rude, you can have normal conversations with people.
Kyel Teplizki, welcome to the Rebel Agent podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to get you on. You're such a popular guy, well-known figure in the sector, and there's lots to get into. Yeah. You've been working at Broker Connector, and you've recently set up a recruitment company, but maybe you'd like to introduce yourself first, and then we'll dive into that.
Yeah, so my name's Kyel. I came to Dubai about 3.5 years ago, and Dubai was never on the cards. For me, it was never even a thought process. I think I'd heard about it through like family, friends, and just like conversations. But my whole life I'd spent doing music. And even I think I wrote my first song at like 7, 8 years old. And there's videos of me in the studio in like junior school. And so that was my whole career journey, trajectory until I was like 22, 23. And so Dubai wasn't even a thought process. And then all of a sudden, 2022, I've ended up here in Dubai.
Yeah, that's an amazing turnaround, isn't it? Have you ever been involved musically here, or was that just back in UK, Europe?
Because it was my dream and I put everything into it. I think when I made that decision, I wasn't just deciding to come to Dubai. I was also deciding that I wasn't going to do music again. And people always ask me, oh, would you never go back into it? Like, you loved it for so long. Can you not see yourself writing songs? I just can't. Yeah. Like, I don't look at myself in the mirror and see myself as a songwriter. I see myself doing real estate and involved in the public sector.
Well, you've ticked that box, haven't you? You've had success with it, as we discussed before the podcast started, and now it's all about your recruitment and other things in Dubai.
Yeah. But I think that taught me so much. And you say success. For me, I deemed it as a failure.
What, a #1 album in Switzerland that you wrote?
But that wasn't the goal. And the target was always to get a Grammy and have #1 albums or songs in the UK and in the US. And so when I didn't achieve that, then it felt like a massive failure. And I felt like a failure myself. And so when I came to Dubai, I had that, not chip on my shoulder, but I had something to prove. Where I had to, okay, I've had failure before. Now I need to really go and be successful at something.
Yeah. And you've certainly done that in these 3.5 years. So you were sales manager, or still are, involved with Broker Connector.
Yeah.
Let's get into Recruit though. Yeah. The agency that you've set up, obviously working with Broker Connector for a number of years, for 3.5 years or whatever. You've seen within the sector a lot of agencies recruit staff. What would you say is the biggest area of mistakes that they've made, and what can you do differently with your business?
It's not just within real estate, but it's within businesses in general. Is they need to have a vision of what they want to do, why they're going to be doing something different, and why would someone even move from their home country thousands of kilometers or miles away, or from another company where they're making good money. Why are they going to leave what they're doing to come and join you and be a part of your journey? And so company owners set out, a lot of the companies have set out because they're good agents, and good agents don't necessarily make good companies or good managers. It takes a whole different skill set. But good people set out, and they're still good. They've got good intentions, but they don't set out with a vision, and they don't set out with an intention to be something or be authentic to what they want to do. They just see other people making more money than they do and say, oh, well, why can't we do that? And so they come into a company with, they don't have the right base level of anything, the fundamentals, the foundations of a company. And from there, the company's not doomed, because you can always change, but it's a really hard sell to other people to really get them to believe in your vision as well, if the base isn't there.
Yeah, so you've seen a bit of a gap in the market.
Yeah.
And then sort of operations, you've been running, a couple of months now?
Yeah. 2.5 months, I think I got my trade license.
Right. Yeah. So that's fantastic. And at you're 28, is that right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So there's you and you got 3 staff already, is that correct?
Bearing in mind, I have no recruitment experience, and I can say that honestly. I've come into it because I've seen a gap in the market, and actually I didn't even necessarily see it. I got told about it. So for this last 6 months, 8 months, I've just been doing market research, where I've gone into all the companies that I work with, some of the largest agencies here, and kind of sat down with the owners or the directors or the recruiters and said, what is it that you're struggling with? Because I wanted to build something and I want to help the industry that I'm in. I just didn't know how to affect it. And the biggest thing that everyone tells you is, we want to recruit, we want to hire more people, or we want to hire better people, and we want to keep those people with us for longer. So I thought, well, if that's what you're asking me to do, why don't I just do that and try and solve that problem?
And the thing with you is you do get these meetings with people, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, Nathan Kearney and Guy Last, who've both been on this podcast, they've been prepared to sit down with you and actually help you, which is, you know, compliment them, but big compliment to you that they're prepared to do that.
Exactly. And, you know, Nathan I've known for a couple of years. Guy I didn't actually know until 2 months ago. Like, I've heard of him in the market. He's a well-known figure in the market. But both of them have been great. And, you know, even though we are competitors, like we're playing sport against each other in some sense.
It's a massive pie, isn't it?
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And I think they know that there is room for more.
And I felt it was quite complimentary that they even give me the time to actually sit down with me, help me, give me advice on what mistakes they've made and what they've done right to hopefully see me grow as well.
Yeah, and the fact that these competitors have done that, it's no wonder that the owners of the real estate companies have been prepared to do it. And you do seem to have this tremendous strength of being very popular. And when we sat down and had a coffee, you know, we sat for a couple of hours, didn't we? Yeah. And you do cover a lot of points. And you come across really well. So I'm sure it's going to be a big success.
I hope so. I think as well, when I talk, I often go off in so many different directions, different ways. And so often, like when we're sitting down for a couple of hours, we're usually not talking about what we're supposed to be talking about, which is maybe real estate or business. We end up talking about football and everything around our actual lives and how we've got to this, like our journeys, rather than just what we're meant to be talking about.
But that brings me on to my next point, which is relationships, isn't it? Now, a lot of people talk about relationships, all about relationship, but what you're doing is you're getting out there, you're playing paddle, you're doing boxing, you're doing football, various sports, setting up running clubs, and you're getting to know these agents, aren't you? And I reckon those agents will come to you wanting help in the future. You're going to be so well connected so that then you can go to the owners of these companies and you know so much about those people. Is that the way you see it planning out?
100%. And like, I'm not setting up these things to be like they weren't business things. So like,
well, some of them have started before you were doing the business, and you were at Broker Connect.
Exactly that. Like when we done the run club, it was just it wasn't even supposed to be a run club. We saw these other run clubs setting up and we thought, we don't want to do that. It's just not corny. It's just not what we wanted to do. But you set out to do something and then you pivot, and then it becomes that people were saying, oh, can we go running? Can we go and do ice baths? And so again, it's learning from what people are telling you. Same as how I set up the business. You think you know what other people want, but when you actually go and do something, they might want something completely different. And so it's just listening to the people around you. So when we set out the run club, we did it, and then through that, other people wanted to come, because again, we were just being authentic to what we wanted to do, and we were running, we were in the gym, but we wanted to do the run clubs, and we wanted to run, do the ice bath, and then go for brunch at 12 o'clock. So our Saturday was like do all the healthiness and be active and the well-being, but then also go and party. And so you get a good balance, and that's the people that we were attracting, because we were just being true to what we wanted to do and who we were as ourselves.
You really get to know those people, don't you?
Yeah.
Rather than I think one of the things you talk about is networking without network events, as in specific ones about recruitment or real estate. And you get to see the people in their true selves.
Exactly. It's so forced. As soon as someone puts on an event that is networking, everyone's got their guard up of like, what is someone going to want from me, or what is it that I want from someone else? Whereas when you go and meet people you go and play football with someone, whether they're on your team or against you, all of a sudden you've spent the last 90 minutes like battling against each other or battling with each other. It's a whole different relationship. And I think that's what people should strive to build, and like real relationships with people where it's not just a work. We've all come to Dubai for the same or very similar reasons. Of most of us, we've come here to earn money. Like that's why we've left our families and sacrificed, what we were doing back home to come here. And so because we're all in that same boat, we have a lot of similarities, and there's a lot of things that we have on different levels that we can interact with. It's not just sport or anything like that. You can do anything with people, and it's just finding the right people. As long as you're true to yourself, like that authentic word, as long as you're authentic, other people will gravitate towards you because they see themselves in you as well.
100%. And talking about bringing people in, let's take the UK, or it can be any other country, for example. What advice would you be giving, say, real estate agents in the UK or people in other fields that are thinking about making the move over here? Because there's just so much opportunity, isn't there, at the moment? I think when I started this podcast, there was something like, 12, 13,000 official real estate agents in Dubai. Now it's 30 odd thousand, and it's only growing. So there's so much business for you and so much opportunity for people. What advice would you be?
For the people, I think the only advice is kind of the decision just before that. So when you've decided to come to Dubai, you're already there, you're already ready to go, and you want to be successful, you've decided to come here. It's for the people that are kind of sitting at home in a comfortable position. So they're earning good money or enough money to kind of get by. It's those people that I think are they're in the worst position for me personally, because the comfort zone is it's not bad enough to want you to, it doesn't make you want to change anything, and it's not good enough where you don't need to change anything. You're sat in a place where everything is just okay. Like it's like a relationship. If you're in a good relationship, it's not amazing. You might not end up marrying that person, but it's also not bad enough for you to leave. You're just like, oh well, he or she is not that bad. Like
you could almost do with getting dumped, or losing your job, or being forced into something.
Sometimes you need those
some
bad
of the best agents that come out. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, the failures which help make the successes. So like for me, the music was a massive thing where I felt I failed, and that forced me to want to be more successful. And when people are at home and they're quite comfortable, there's not that driver to make them say, actually, I'm not doing as good as I think I'm doing. Like I really need to change something. So those are the people that I kind of want to affect. I want the people that are good and they're driven. They just don't know how to get from earning good money, and obviously good money is relative to everyone, but how do I go from earning good money to really fulfill my potential?
Great tax-free money.
Exactly
which
that.
Is what they'll get here. And then another thing I want to talk about on the subject of recruitment. If you go onto LinkedIn, you just see how often agents are moving from company to company. Sometimes it can be 3 times in a year. Sometimes it might not be for a few years. But how can agencies do better in staff retention, do you think?
Again, it's looking at why the company's setting up. If the company is set up because the owner has made a load of money and wants to just have an agency for the sake of it, oftentimes there's a lot of issues within that company. And then I've also seen the other side of people from outside of real estate come into Dubai real estate because it looks like everyone's making so much money, and all you have to do is set up and kind of advertise on a portal and you make money easily. But that's not the reality of it. Like you really have to work. It's a hard business. It's so competitive, maybe one of the most competitive businesses in the world right now. So what are you going to do that other people are not going to do? And so then how do people keep their agents and their staff is by not just offering higher commissions is not everything. It's a great thing, and it's obviously one thing, but it's also like the culture within a business. Why am I going to come and join your business when everyone hates each other? And as soon as 5 o'clock hits, everyone wants to be outside of that office. So it's creating an environment where people can come, they want to work, they want to be in the office. Obviously they want to leave the office to go and do viewings, to go and make money, but it's an environment where they want to pour into that business rather than see it as like, oh, if I can get through for the next couple of months, I'll look for something better in the new year. And it's down to the owners of the company and the people at the top of that company to really set that culture and understand their people, take the time to learn what it is that we need to offer our agents. Because those are the people we're talking about. Like the agents are the ones that move from company to company, and if you can retain them, then you've got a great business.
Yeah, that all makes a lot of sense. Let's right, you go in, it's one of the bigger agencies, you get to sit down with the owners or the decision makers at the company. Obviously, a lot of them have got internal recruiters. How do you persuade those agencies to use you alongside their internals?
Perfect. So as soon as we go into a company, especially the bigger companies, the first thing they'll say is we don't work with agencies. That is like their first initial, like they're defensive.
You do.
and so we're like, oh, that's absolutely fine. However, if we bring you someone good, would you work with us? And that is it. That I've always been a big believer of show and don't tell. Like show them what we can do. And then instead of just sitting there saying, oh yeah, but I can do this, I can do that. Oh, this is what we've done. Actually, this is a person that I think would be a great fit for your team and your company. Do you want to interview with them? Oh, well, yeah, okay then. And that's it. And as soon as you do that and you deliver
Once
value.
You've done one and you've got a good candidate.
Exactly. And that's all it is. And if we're talking in the real estate terms, you know, if you show someone a good property or you do a good service for someone, you've got them. Like as soon as and it's so easy to build trust. It's so easy to like lose trust with someone, and it's really hard to build trust.
Yeah.
So for us, I've spent the last 3 and a bit years just building trust with these people. So now when I'm speaking to people, it's not at a point where I'm just saying, oh, you know, give me the money. I'm saying, look, this is what we're doing, and like I can show you this. And then at that point, then we can speak about money.
I'm glad you came back to that, because I know we've mentioned it, but this is so important. You're meeting these people socially, and you're meeting them through sport because you're the right age, because you're sort of around the right age of the average broker. Maybe the average broker's slightly older, but you're there. Yeah. So you're very well equipped to know whether that person will be a good fit for that agency.
Yeah, I think. Also just... It's also not just on the surface level of just like, okay, they're 28, they've made 2 million dirhams last year, they like Chelsea, they support Chelsea. Okay, great, we'll put...
You'll have other fans as well with.
No, I only do Chelsea, but I can only think about Chelsea. I can't say another football team on the podcast. But instead of just putting them with another person that supports Chelsea, like we're actually going in and understanding what it is that makes them tick. Because again, it's like we said, every company wants to do something different or thing, and not very many companies can do something different. Like it's an industry where, you know, you're selling houses. Like as much as we can dress it up on everything, it's quite a simple business in terms of the actual, you've got a property, someone wants to buy that property.
It's just matching, isn't it?
You've just got to match together. Yeah, similar in recruitment, you've got someone that wants a job, you've got a company that wants to hire. It's just matching up the right people, but it's understanding people on a more intrinsic level of why would they want to leave their company, and why would they be a good fit, or be not just go and work at that company, but also help that company grow, because we all want to grow as companies or as individuals as well.
Yeah. And then you work with smaller agencies as well.
Of course. Yeah.
And what are you looking for different really from those sort of candidates?
From the candidates?
Because I guess if you go into a White & Co or an Allsop House and House, at times it can be a bit laddish, music playing, maybe not House and House, but you know, music playing, and there's a certain vibe there, isn't there? I presume some people would prefer a smaller agency, and without that maybe.
So with the small agencies, again, it's understanding what can they offer, because they can't compete with House and they can't compete with Better Homes in terms of legacy. Better Homes been here for 40 something years. No other company can compete on how long they've been here. No other company can compete with, you know, Allsop's brand. So you have to think, okay, we're just setting out, we've only got 10 to 20 agents. What are we going to do that's so powerful that we're the best in the market, or we're the best in the world at? And they really need to focus on their strengths rather than trying to be like everything else. And so it's being their authentic self. So, you know, some companies, I think a company that I think have done it really well over the last couple of years is Strada. Mm-hmm. They know they're not as big as the other agencies.
You work with Strada?
No. And you know what? And
but that's all credit to you, because you don't, but you're still prepared to compliment them.
Strada's a funny one. So I've tried to pitch them multiple times throughout the years, and they've never been interested, which fair enough. They have their identity of who they want to be, but through that I've still built good relationships with the owners. And so I think, again, it's
only a matter of time. Well, hopefully they're watching this podcast.
Maybe, yeah. But I don't see it as a negative. I think if someone doesn't buy from you, it doesn't say anything about me or the product or anything like that. Sometimes it is just timing, or maybe it's just not the right fit. And so I still think it's a great thing that I can still have a good relationship with them.
Absolutely.
And still go and chat to them.
Everybody likes you, Kyel.
I wouldn't say that. There's a lot of people that can't stand me.
What I do,
it doesn't. There's all, you know. You're not going to be friends with everyone. And as I set out the business, I've sat down with some really good founders, not just in real estate, but from all different industries. And one of the biggest lessons they learned when they're setting up their business and kind of you start taking on staff is you're not going to be liked by everyone. Everyone wants to have that thing of like, oh, like my staff love me. No one wants to leave. Great. You're going to have to get rid of people, or people are going to want to leave. And you want that story to be a positive thing, but sometimes they're not going to like you. And you'd rather the story be, we've got a successful business, rather than, oh, everyone's my friend and, you know, we all get along and stuff. Great. I want people there's a human nature. There's a need to be liked by everyone, or by some people, but you're not going to be. And that's the reality of anything in business.
Yeah. I mean, you're making a lot of sense to me. One thing I would ask you, and I know a lot of it just comes from you, but there must be some sort of business books or self-help books or people you like.
So many. Hormozi is someone I've looked up to for the last couple of years. Iman Gadzhi is another one. Iman Gadzhi, I think, is like 2 years younger than me, and doing phenomenal things. Lives in Dubai.
So easy to relate to.
Yeah.
But
I think during COVID and then kind of coming out of COVID, there was a big spike in these kind of self-help and like gurus, internet gurus.
Yeah.
It's always hard to believe everything. And so it's kind of determining, like, are they making money from helping people, which I'm sure they do, but are they also capable of running businesses?
Yeah, are they authentic?
Yeah.
And also, I think the mistake some people make is they try and follow too many and spend more and more time just watching these guys or girls and not actually setting the business up. But you've done it. You've set your business up. I
look at people that are not in business but have got businesses. So these people are business people, as in they want to talk about business and stuff. There's actually some really, like, I'm going to talk about, he's one of my favorite people in the world, is Drake. And he's not set out to make a business. Like, he's a musician that's created billions of dollars worth of a business and income for people, for him, family, and the people around him. There's a YouTube channel that I'm really getting into called Nelk Boys. They've been going for absolute years. And the business advice that they can give, because they didn't set out to make a business. They set out to make prank videos. And then they got demonetized by YouTube because they were kind of R-rated or plus 18. And because of that, they weren't making any money. So they had to sit down and really make a business plan. It's like, how are we going to make money? And they started doing merch, and they created a whole business, an alcohol shop, an alcohol drink as well. They made millions and millions of dollars from doing stuff that wasn't intentionally set out to be a business. They just had the intuition or the business sense that they learned throughout the years without actually setting out to make a business.
And that's what you did with your running club and various things like that. So you do implement that. That's great.
Money is a massive thing, and I'm like...
Yeah, but the money will follow.
The money follows.
You go for your principles first, and then the money follows, and that's
exactly that. I always got told, if you love what you do, the money will follow. The money will come no matter what. And so that if you can create something so strong that you believe in, the money will be there, and you have to believe that the money will be there. Whether it's right now, you have to sometimes that delayed gratitude of the work that I'm putting in right now will come, whether it's now, next month, or next year.
But if you enjoy what you're doing and it's authentic, then it's fine, isn't it? Right. Broker Connector.
Yeah.
I've tried to do research on Broker Connector, and I've got a rough idea what it's about, but maybe you can just talk about it for a little bit.
And that's intentional. So our whole thing was that it's off market. So we don't advertise. We barely do any social media. The only kind of things we did or to promote ourselves was just be vocal or be visible within the companies. So you'd go in and out the agencies and talk to actual real people. And that's because what we're doing is having conversations, and the whole business is set up about, you've got an agent who needs something and then another agent who has something, and all you're doing is matching them up.
In terms of a property.
Yeah, exactly that. So whether it's rentals, sales, commercial, off-plan resale, anything kind of within that secondary market, we're involved in.
Yeah, okay. So the agencies sign up with you, and then you deal with the individual agents, do you?
Exactly.
Yeah, and then what is it, like a monthly fee, or is it commission, or how?
Yeah, so we don't get involved in the commission. We're just subscription based. The reason why we've always done it that way is because we never want it to be a hindrance for an agent to use us. We want it to feel like they've got, it's an amazing tool that they get to use. Like, they're sat there, agents will sit there for 2 to 3 hours on the portal or Property Finder Bayou, just kind of calling other agents. So instead of that, all they have to do is send a WhatsApp. And so it is a massive benefit to their lives. If they can say 3 hours every single day, they could be going on more viewings or calling out on more of their direct properties rather than wanting to work with other agents, which...
So basically, you're getting a feed, you're getting a list of properties that agent is prepared to work with, a co-agent, work with another agent.
Yeah.
Like if it's on Property Finder, you don't know whether that agent is going to work with another agent or not, do
Exactly.
you? So is that what you're saying, that you're wasting your time as an agent contacting potentially?
So many reasons. So an agent will sit there, they'll contact, say there's 20 properties there. You'll have to call through each one, and people will say agents don't want to work with other agents. That's a massive answer. Half of the properties are fake. They don't exist.
Right.
Like, people put them up for multiple reasons, mainly to get leads. Fine. And then third, agents just don't respond. That's probably the biggest thing of, like, we're in an industry where half of the job, 95% of the job is just responding to people.
Yeah.
And agents
I find that.
It's crazy. Absolutely. Like, me to this day, I will call people and they don't respond. And I just don't understand. And I'll send a WhatsApp, and sometimes they don't even reply to the WhatsApp. And this is not for me to sell them anything. Sometimes this is me to get a property, and like, I'm your customer, I'm your client. And if you're doing that to me, you're doing that to everyone else. Like, how you've come here to make money, and I'm telling you, I want to spend my money. Take my money, and they just don't. So for an agent then to call through, if I'm doing that as a client to try and get a property, then you can imagine as an agent, they're calling another agent. Agents will most of the time just not be responsive.
Yep.
And so if they can save that time, and they've got the data for direct properties, or they're talking to more of their actual direct clients, then that's where the massive win comes in.
So that agent that's got a client but hasn't got the property,
Yeah.
do they directly contact the other agent?
So at the start, they come to us because we have to verify everything.
Yeah.
We're safe
to make
platform.
sure that they're not fake listings, etc.
Exactly. Yeah. So we verify it from both sides. We understand really what the client wants in terms of from the agent. So what the agent wants from the client side, and then we understand what the agent wants from the seller side or from the landlord side. And once we can verify what both people have or want, then we connect. And only at the point when both people say, yes, I want that, or yes, I have that, then we connect. If one person is fibbing or lying and saying something that is not, then we just don't connect, because it's not authentic in
they're
what
not really incentivized to do that with your scheme, are they?
No, and they wouldn't.
Whereas
do it.
they would be online, because
Exactly.
it's not the public seeing it.
Yeah. And so all you've got, if someone says they have something and they don't have it, all they've got is James's number from so and so real estate, and the agent will call them and say, oh, have you got this? And they say no, and they say, oh, okay, and the conversation's done. The agent can't lead them to something else, because agents don't work like that. When it's on a portal, when it's in the public domain, you can lead clients to different places because you've kind of got hold of that client. But we work off market. Everything we do is off market, whether that means the property is completely unpublished, and most of the deals that we do are, or it just means that we've got published property, but we're not advertising anything. We're just doing it completely.
So a property from an agent could be on Property Finder or Bayou, and also yours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. We're not. because we're not advertising anything, it doesn't really matter where the property is. So it's not with the Chakisi permits, anything like that. It's just having conversations with people. We're an offline channel where we have the conversation with everyone, and it's only at the point where everyone agrees that we connect, and that's it.
Yeah, it completely makes sense to me now. And I know you wouldn't want to talk about which agencies are with you, but can you talk about sort of broad number of agents?
Yeah. So we work with just over 7,500 agents in Dubai. It's like 7,700.
Because when you think how many would actually be active, let's say it's 30,000 that are registered, only less than half of that are going to be active.
Yeah.
So you've probably got half of that.
Yeah. So awesome. And I've had a massive benefit from that because I've managed to meet everyone in Dubai.
It's been huge for you with this business, the recruitment business that you've got now.
Super lucky, really, really grateful for that. But I think it's a testament to what we built at Broker Connector in terms of, because we don't advertise anywhere, it's just through word of mouth. So one of the biggest advantages that we have is that agents will use us at their company and then go and set up their own business, or go to another company as the manager, and they're saying, why would I sit and waste 3 hours or 4 hours of my life calling other agents? I've got a tool that I've used. Like, I want to be part of this again. And so that's what we've seen. We've seen so many agents from good companies realize what good things have happened at their company and want to set up their own agency and use the tools that they've had at a bigger agency or a different agency and use it for their own company.
And that first mover advantage that you've got is huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've seen a few come and have a go at this, haven't you? Over the years.
Sometimes they're at a risk of just being a bit too clever. I think sometimes you have to really dumb things down in terms of just the most simplistic version of something. So everything we do is on WhatsApp. And we've kept it like that for years, out of, people want to go onto a web-based platform or anything like that. For us, we understand what people want, and we speak to people. Again, throughout this conversation, there's so many times where the decisions that I've made or that we've made is from just having conversations with people. And so when we're understanding what these people are actually wanting, instead of thinking we know what they want, we understand what they're actually asking for, and we just come and meet them at that point. And so we've kept it super, super simplistic. Other companies have tried to do some kind of tech-induced platforms. It's just not worked. And maybe it will, and maybe next year there'll be something completely new and it's like, wow, amazing, but it hasn't worked, and there's so many reasons for that. And so we've just identified what has worked, and again we've tried to be the strongest at what we're best at and go for that.
Because you're reasonably, I know you probably won't want to discuss numbers, but you're reasonably labor intensive as well. You have got there are staff as well behind. It's not all just tech trying to sort it out, is it?
No, and again, I think that's a benefit for us, and maybe with AI and all these things, there's easier ways to do it. But I really think having real conversations with real people, when I get calls all the time now, and I'm always skeptical whether it's AI or whether it's actual real people. And that's always in my head. So when you're speaking to real people and you can actually have real conversations with people, I think there's an almost at ease, because you can ask certain questions, you get a certain response, and you know how that response is. If it's an AI response, you feel
we're not there yet, are we?
No, it's not.
No. It works for a few things, but not for a lot.
Yeah.
And I guess you like to get in front of people. You like a face-to-face if you can.
Pretty much all the deals I've done is because I'm knocking on doors, or I think I've done 1 or 2 deals over 3.5 years where I've never met the person. Like, I really like to get in. Yesterday, I was in the greens, and there was some people that didn't respond to me, which is fine. They're busy. So I know where their office is. I go and knock on their doors, and you can go and sit with people. People are like, of course, some people are going to turn you away and say, no, Kyel, I'm too busy. I don't want to speak right now. But most of the time, they're working, they've got time, they've got 10, 15 minutes, or they can say, oh, Kyel, I can't meet you right now. Next week, let's set a time. But getting in front of people, as long as you're not being intrusive and as long as you're not being rude, you can have normal conversations with people.
Yeah. You've invested in the greens as well.
I love the greens.
Yeah.
I'm a massive...
Which is great that you've been in a position to do that, because you haven't been here that long.
I think people... I've always wanted to get into property. That was a massive thing from back home. And I just never had any money. What's great? I was looking at like my pay slips and stuff from when I moved from UK to Dubai. I was on £19,000 a year back home, because after COVID and after music, I was just super lost. And so I took an admin job at like a finance company, just anything, basically anyone that would take me. And I was on £19,000. So I really wanted to do property and all these things. So covers the rent and food. Like you don't have a car or anything. It's just like baseline stuff. And so as soon as I was in a position, and that's what Dubai has, because you're surrounded by people that are making millions. There's a lot of people here that you know like to talk about it, but there are people that are making serious money, and so you can strive to be that. And so as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, why can't I do it? And then as soon as I started making money, then the first thing was property.
Yeah, well done. And talking about back home, before I let you go, you were telling me earlier that you do like to go back home and visit people and visit.
I still love London.
Yeah.
Like London, we've got, in terms of the UK, we've got a massive like PR problem, I feel, where no matter what, if they make a change, whether it's positive or negative, it will be seen as in a negative light. And I don't know, you walk around London. I was in London for a couple of weeks over summer. It's still such an awesome city. Like, and they've made massive I used to live in a place in Battersea, and now where it is all along the embankment, all along the Thames, you wouldn't recognize it. The power station is different. Well, yeah, it's just a crazy city, but I love it.
It's funny with the Brits out here, we're kind of divided, aren't we? There's those that hate going back home and will only go back there because they feel obliged to visit relatives or whatever. And then there's people like you and me that actually enjoy. I go back 3 or 4 times a year, and I really look forward to it. Don't get me wrong, I'm ready to come back to Dubai after a few weeks there because I miss the buzz of this place. But it is good going back home.
I think, let's see, I'm 28. There's been times over the last 3 years where I've felt like maybe my story in Dubai is not over, but maybe I need to go back to London and build something there. But if you can have, I mean, let's see. But if I can have kind of that dual kind of residency where I'm in London for a couple of months a year and I'm in Dubai for the remainder of the year, I think that's the perfect place to be.
Well, you got 2 lives then, haven't you? And you're always looking forward to the other one, which is great. Yeah, I've really enjoyed having you on the podcast today. Was there anything else you wanted to cover on this?
No. This is my first podcast. I messed up.
First podcast.
This is my first podcast. I was a bit nervous. I was a bit nervous coming in, and I didn't know what the kind of flow of it. But I mean, we've spoke so much over the last couple of weeks anyway. So it's
on the phone and coffee and stuff.
This is basically like we're sitting in a coffee shop anyway. And just having a normal chat.
No, it's been really good, and I'd love to get you back on, say, in about 6 months or so. I mean, you've only been doing it a couple of months, and I know you're doing business already.
Exactly.
So it's only going to go in one direction, which is brilliant.
I hope so. Let's see. Let's set a date. So we're on the 17th of December.
All right. Yeah.
Let's set a date for a year's time. 17th of December. 2026.
Okay.
And just see where.
Do you want to give targets? Or?
Oh, I've got so many targets, but I just, I'm an optimist in terms of, I think, next year we can do this, and this. But I want to. Let's see where we're at next year. And,
you've every right to be optimistic. You've had a fantastic career with Broker Connector. Everybody knows you. You seem to know I can't mention a name within Dubai real estate without you knowing that person. You're talking about Jodie Thompson, Amy Marsh, both of whom have been on this podcast, and various other people I've never heard of. But
they're all great people, and I think I like to surround myself with great people. They're two of the best recruiters within Dubai. And if you're surrounded by great people, you're going to learn so much more. So being surrounded by average people, you kind of lower yourself to their level. Whereas when you're the names we speak about, Jodies and the Amy's, I want to be like them. I think they've done an amazing job. And so when I sit down with them over coffee or anything, I'm learning, even just a regular conversation.
They're great girls, but they haven't set up their own.
They haven't,
but I mean, they've done great, and I got a lot of respect for both of them. And Amy, actually, when she came on the first time, House and House saw her, and then they offered her a job head of recruitment after that. So that was great. Don't put yourself down. I think you've
no, but I enjoy learning. Like I said, I never did recruitment. So for me to go into something that I don't know is a massive learning curve, and maybe a bit stupid, maybe a bit naive. Let's see. We'll see it on the 17th of December, 2026. But just to see them, like them two as examples, they've done extraordinarily well. And so when we even just having chats about their mentality and their determination, I learn a lot from that, whether it's actually recruitment or just the way they set up you said they haven't set up their own business, but within a company, especially the way we set up real estate, it is like running your own business. So the processes and the implementation of what they're doing is like their own business. And so what they're doing and what they're learning, I can learn so
You're
much
totally
from
right.
them.
And whether it's recruitment, it becomes like your own business, or whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're on 50%, 60%, whatever, you're kind of running your own business within a business, aren't you? Because it's all commission. Well, on the real estate side.
Of course. And I think there's no risk in that. I think a lot of people are scared to take a risk, but there is actually, I think you should always fail often, fail fast, do it. You learn, like we said, you learn so much from the actual failures of doing something. And normally, you fail at something, you can always go back to the place you were when you started. And in the process of failing, you've learned so much. So actually, you're never where you started anyway. You've gained knowledge, you've gained experience, you've gained connections or something that actually in 6 months' time, if it all messes up, you're in a different place to when you started. Whether that's a monetary term or not, because we get caught up on like, oh, I don't want to lose £10,000, I don't want to lose 100,000 dirhams, like all these kind of things. But actually, just the progression is sometimes more, and you're going to be in a better place than when you started.
What you've lost in terms of monetary value, you've gained in terms of experience, so that you go on to the next project or the one after that, and then you'll succeed. But no, it's been great having you on. I really look forward to December 2026 getting you back on, and thanks very much for coming on today.
Thank you so much, really enjoyed it.